Hello. Hello, 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 hello. You've guessed it, Beady Boy, in the flesh. I haven't done a video for so long, I gotta look all the controls over carefully. How are you today? This is the Dinosaur News. Stop looking at myself in the screen and look at you in the eyeball. So how are you, eyeball? May 12th, 2020. Check out May 12th, 2020 in this day in history. There are so many incredible dates this day in history. The American Civil War, Britain. So many different dates of interest around the world. I can't start listing them all. This is Dinosaur News brought to you by the British People's League. So with this virus crap, I'm not talking to too many people. I normally don't anyway. Even friends on Facebook are a little bit ticked off. I don't talk on the phone. No. You're a Facebook friend. You've been screened already. I sympathize with those who are not Facebook friends, who do not want Facebook. But I just can't spend all the time retyping to separate emails. I do a Facebook blind list, blind to me. In other words, somebody not connected checks in, they can't check in. They try and check in, they can't check in. Those who are afraid to be on Facebook, I don't know what to say. You're known anyway. What a way to gain new associates. Scare the hell out of them. But I am proud of the way I cherry pick different statements out there in the internet world every day. And I post the best of the cherries on Facebook in quotation marks. Now, if it's a touch and go outlet, I just do quotation marks. You want the credit, let me know, I'll give you the credit. But in quotation marks, it proves it's not John Beatty delivering the statement. So I suppose you're surviving the virus thing. It looks like it's going to slowly conk out now with the weather improving. I can be accused of being a chicken. I didn't do a video for so long, partly because of the virus. I didn't know what side to take. I suppose in this one I'm in the middle. If the politicians did nothing and quite a few more died in the nursing homes quicker than they should, wow. And if they overdid it as they seem to have done, could have caused a lot of problems. Who knows? But one thing we know, friends here, the British People's League, the British People's League that sponsors these broadcasts, one thing we know for sure, we have a good core of people who are in touch with the British People's League, as well as other groups around the globe. But I'll tell you, when we get the loot, a big donation, we are going to be a public pressure group, because at that point, yours truly can send tweets or whatever to public officials. But at this stage, I don't feel like taking all the heat myself. So there's the virus. Now, a good news story, of course, is Queen Victoria Day still being celebrated in Canada. Queen Victoria's birthday coming up on the 24th of May is the Queen's birthday. The 24th of May is the Queen's birthday. Still celebrated in Canada and Scotland. I suppose the slaves in the Victorian era, the white slaves, were called servants, but they were fed, clothed. A class system made you sick in a lot of ways, but there were a lot of values set in those days that have still lived over into our current day. Those white people who traditionalize, who live in tradition, families, normalcy, what British Canadians call normal. British Canadians, dare I use the term British Canadian? Yes, indeedy doody. Using the term British, of course, we recommend our good friend Peter Hollings in the United Kingdom. One of the better out there as a lead intellectual and patriot. And in America, of course, we constantly plug League of the South with Dr. Michael Hill and also American Renaissance with Jared Taylor. Here in Canada, pause. Well, there's so many different groups sprouting up, the Yellow Vests and those who are protesting against the lockdown. I suppose they'll sift through the test of time with the attacks by the screwballs at the Antifa and so on. Well, the Antifa save us the trouble of weeding out the cowards. Doesn't mean you're a coward because you don't ask to be doxxed, as they say, in the internet world, or exposed. But by the same token, we got to do something for our grandchildren. Our parents didn't do enough. I say our parents, imagine at my age. But after coming out of the Second World War, either side, who the hell wants to carry on with problems? That horrible war, people just wanted to forget it. So they overlooked the evil communists and liberals that brought in the immigration from non-European stock. But I'm just reviewing right now what is said on so many YouTubes. Within our circles in British Canada, in our circles in America, in Britain, in Australia, New Zealand. I don't need to repeat the same message. I do like the uniqueness of the white supermarket shelf. To suit your personality, become involved. But do some screening. Don't get suckered in. I was suckered in. Imagine all the years I've been a patriot, active over the years, decades, 55 years. I was sort of suckered in by some chat rooms in Britain, but they were featuring mixed-race couples who were so-called patriots. And, well, to be honest, they try and be. But as I said in the last video, we have to do this ourselves. We're white, bright, and beautiful, and we must save ourselves. Once we get big time, then, of course, we would ally for international trade only where and when needed, etc. But let's get there first. Our contacts are made by now. You know, and I know, who the good guys and bad girls and good guys and bad guys. And we know how to differentiate. We know who the names are. But the public doesn't know the names. You say radical right to Joe Public, they don't know what you're talking about. They don't know if you're talking about a right arm or a right fist, boxing match or what. You got to realize that. For every Toronto Sun editorial that comes out talking a pinch our language, then they come out with a huge deal about the Second World War. So you can't win that way. We got to rely on ourselves. Hope I can continue to rely on my voice. But hey, not answering telephone calls keeps my mind alert for on the job. And I am on the job 7 days a week, cherry picking out the best quotations to inspire our people around the globe. Those of white stock, particularly those of British stock, and here in Canada, British Canadian stock. The virus, so many different views on it. It's over anyway. Exaggerated flu is what I'd put it down to. But tell that to somebody who's lost a relative or a frontline nurse worker who's been killed by the virus, or the aged who've passed away earlier than they should have. So it's a hard road to hoe to decide lockdown or half a lockdown or no lockdown at all. Anyway, we're into the better weather, so the virus is going to be zapped by nature and the better weather. There are so many YouTubes out there talking our language. There's another good fellow in Britain I should have mentioned. James Goddard is looking good on YouTube. James Goddard, G-O-D-A-R-D. James Goddard, G-O-D-A-R-D. Out of Britain. He's got potential. But there's some crooks out there using the Bible to sell swords, belt buckles. What else does he sell? Cloaks. Just hide behind the Bible like so many phony Bible thumpers do around the globe. So if you know who I mean, that guy's not a patriot. He's just a con artist. So have to weed out the garbage from the supermarket shelf. Make sure you're taking good candidates to be spokespeople. Do I wish there was some phenomenon I could introduce to you today, May 12th, 2020? Well, check out the dates in history. What a profound day it is. It's profound that Beady Boy came back on video after being off since February 17th. One good friend asked from America, when am I doing the next video, a while back? I said, when the mood hits me. One good thing about not appealing for donations openly and overly, nobody can tell me what to do. I'm independent. Friends of the British People's League keep things going with good emails. Keep up the good work. Oh, and by the way, last video, we talked about helping the authorities when it's common sense to do so. When you see a non-citizen immigrant group throwing a wild party, nothing wrong with tipping off the police about that. When you know they're going to get drunk and cause accidents. Oh, white people get drunk sometimes too, officer. Got to watch out for the hate law cops. Okay, we're still here. We may do videos more frequently again, depending on your response. Maybe not depending on your response. Maybe just depending when I'm in the mood. But the last video had more hits and visits than any ever. So that's why we also left it on. So that's about it for today. Now we'll go through the machinations. I haven't forgotten, I hope, how to get this thing published. Thanks for tuning in. God save the Queen.